Hey everyone, this is Alvin on behalf of Neil Napier and Mario Brown. So, welcome to the AutoWebinarX technical walkthrough. So, before we get started, I want to make sure that you can hear me. Just give me a quick yes or one in the chat if both audio and video is coming through loud and clear. Perfect. So, we have John. Good to have you here. We have Terry, Tony, Marlene, George, Douglas, Daniel, Bryant, Afzal, a couple of friends. Sorry, I do apologize. I only see friend in your your name when you go to webinar. All right, perfect. So today is going to be the technical walkthrough of AutoWebinarX, and I'm going to walk you through all the features, how to set it up, and of course some of the bugs that we are also currently working on. Okay, just with any software, there are going to be bugs. So I hope that is fine with you. That's why we offer the 30-day no questions asked money back guarantee, because we there are going to be always going to be bugs that will come up on once the software is released. If Microsoft wasn't able to perfect Windows, then I think no one else can. Good question. I know that question is going to come up. So the question was, all right, why are you not using AutoWebinarX? So let me post that in the chat. The answer is I can't demo AutoWebinarX if I'm using AutoWebinarX, right? I can't start a webinar on it and anything like that if I'm using the platform itself. So if I was selling GoToWebinar, I would use AutoWebinarX to sell GoToWebinar because I can't demo GoToWebinar to you if I'm not using it. Does that make sense? All right, perfect. So I hope I don't get that question again, because yeah, it kind of makes a lot of sense. Because although I do want to demo AutoWebinarX or use it right away here, it's next to impossible because I do have to demo it with you guys. But don't worry, you will see it live. In fact, we're gonna set up a webinar on AutoWebinarX, and I'm gonna get you to join. Right, I'm gonna get you to join because, well, but here's the only caveat though. If you join me on GoToWebinar, and if you're gonna be joining me on AutoWebinarX, there will be a lot of audio feedback. Why? Well, it's going to be two separate feeds. They're not going to sync to each other. So you might hear me first and go to webinar, and then after a half second or 2 seconds, you might hear the same words on AutoWebinarX. That's why we can't do this webinar there. Okay. All right. Perfect. So let's continue. So will this be recorded? So yes, this will be recorded and will be available in the tutorial section of AutoWebinarX. It will be uploaded within 24 hours. So best case scenario by 8 p.m. today. Worst case scenario is going to be at tomorrow around 6 or 8 a.m. Okay? Yeah. Is that clear to everyone? I want to make sure that it is clear. So let me just type it in. This is recorded. It will be available in the tutorial section. Okay. All right. Perfect. So let's get started. So how do I do live webinars? Now, I'm not sure if it was clear on the sales page, but you can do live webinars on AutoWebinarX. WT, if you can't hear anything, make sure to click on, he can't hear anything, so produce, let me just send him a chat and said, check on computer audio. Yep, Facebook Live at the moment is something we are working on a bug with. Unfortunately, after we launched the product, we realized that the Facebook API changed again. I'm not sure if everyone knows about Facebook APIs do change quite a bit. In fact, they change on a well on a weekly basis, and we do need to find a fix before we can proceed. Okay. So a fix for that is going to be available within the week. We'll try to get it up as soon as possible. Once it is going to be working again, we are going to do a full-on tutorial for this, and we also might do a quick webinar for you guys as well, just to make sure. Most of the webinars are going to be done on a weekend, and we're going to talk about how to set it up. Okay, don't worry. We want to make sure you'll be able to use the software as soon as possible, because we do see that webinars is going to be very, very important. Can you repeat? There's currently a bug with the Facebook Live interface, the Facebook app ID, and in particular, we are working on a fix, and that fix we'll try to get it up and running within this week. Okay. And once that is fixed, we will do a complete tutorial or even perhaps a live webinar again just for that feature. All right. So is that clear? Okay. I hope that's clear. All right. So right now you should be seeing the dashboard for AutoWebinarX. Give me a quick yes if you are seeing that page. Just want to make sure everyone is well on the same page. Perfect. All right. All right. All right. Love your enthusiasm, guys. So right here, we have subscribers, we have webinars, we have panelists, we have settings, and all that. So before you even start and use AutoWebinarX, make sure to set up your subdomain. First, your subdomain does not mean a .com, right? If you have the main offer already, or just the main offer, you cannot add a .com. So you have to use .autowebinarx.com, right? So in my case, I've used live.autowebinarx.com. Okay, so I hope that's clear about the subdomain part, because we got an email earlier saying that he wanted to do a .com, wondering why the subdomain doesn't work. We basically just inform him that a .com is not a subdomain; it's a domain name. All right, so I hope that's clear. Select a time zone and all that, and of course, make sure to select a invalid URL so that your customers won't. Well, if they try to access your site or your webinar page, they won't go to a 404, and basically you lose that customer forever. So I do suggest setting up a sign up page for this. Johannes, so what about the pro user? What do they enter, Alvin? Yeah, they can enter anything. They can enter any domain that they want, and basically they can use their own domain name. So if, for example, you don't want to use live.autowebinarx.com, you can set up your own domain here. You just point it to our server, and you're gonna have something like johanneswebinars.com, for example. That's available on the pro version. I'm gonna explain that later on in a bit. Okay. All right. Yeah. Same to you, Brian. I'm gonna explain to you the DNS settings as well in a bit. Okay. Yeah. So that's actually the pro feature. Let's focus first on the main offer so that we don't jump around all around it. The other features on the upgrades. Okay. Let's focus on the main offer or the main features first. So let's talk about that here. So I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but on GoToWebinar, you can have a list. You can build your list on GoToWebinar, and let's do a quick comparison here. Okay, so let me move this around and let me. Hey, where's that? Oh, all right. So let's move this around here, and let's move this around as well. So here, as you can see, we have our different email list, right? So on GoToWebinar, this is how it will look like. You have all your signups here, all your registrations. It's the same thing as here. Now, the problem with GoToWebinar is that you can't really upload your list, right? you can upload your list directly to GoToWebinar. If you can see here, if I click on registrants, there's no way for me to import my email list. I can only get a registration report and all that. Now, there is a workaround for GoToWebinar, but it's going to cost you. You can use Zapier, right? And the problem with this is that if you have, let's say, 1,000 or 500 people that you want to import into GoToWebinar, it will take a few hours because you can only do 50 to 100 a time. And you have to do that pretty much every 10 to 15 minutes. So in an hour, you can pretty much transfer what 500 to 600 at most people to your GoToWebinar. And again, it is going to be something that you need to spend money on. In fact, let me show you the pricing here. So you can either upload 3,000 per month for around $18.33, or you can get it for $45 for 15,000 per month. So yeah, it's going to be a third-party application if you want to import your list into a webinar. Now, with GoToWebinar, we actually made it super easy. You just need to click on Create List. Move this here. There we go. And let's say, for example, I want to import all of you guys into this webinar. Let's say, for example, AutoWebinarX customers. Put a description here. Click on Add. And there we go. We have a list here, right? So from here, I can simply click on Edit. And I can upload the file. I can upload the text here, or I can upload a CSV file. Now the format is pretty simple. First name, last name, email. That's it. So if I open up a sheet here, right? And let's say, for example, I create an Excel sheet. All right, and let me create that here. Let's say first name is going to be Alvin, last name Yang, and my email is going to be alvin@kvsocial.com. Right? I'm going to save this into a CSV. There we go. Click on save. There we go. All right, let's save it again. All right, there we go. So now we upload the file. Click on select file, and we get on book2.csv. Click on select file. Oh, not that. We'll go to webinar, click on import. I select whatever list this goes to. So I'm going to put in first name, last name, email. Click on import now. And from here, click on OK. And there we go. Our email has been imported into that list. Now, is it clear about importing your list? Give me a quick guess if everything is clear for that feature. Perfect, perfect. And of course, when you set up a webinar, you are able to create a list as well. So basically, you'll be able to get people to sign up. And when you get people to sign up, of course, you will also need to be able to export it to your autoresponder, right? So from here, if you have signups, for example, here, again, you can export this subscriber, for example. You can just go back and click on export or export. There we go. Or you can also merge them. All right. How do I import Facebook contacts? Now, at the moment, we don't have Facebook contacts import because their terms of service actually does not allow that. Right at the moment. If once that becomes that policy changes, we will definitely work on basically being able to import it or import subscribers directly from Facebook. Okay, so is everything about the subscriber section clear, guys? Just want to make sure that everything's clear before we move on to a next feature. Give me a yes is if everything's clear so far. Okay, so a quick side note, by the way, once you have all of your list here, and when you send notifications to them, it has its built-in email analytics. All right. So for example, active users means they've just been imported, or that means they have clicked on your link or have joined the webinar. Subscribes again. This is considered as a kind of like an autoresponder, so they can unsubscribe as they choose. And of course, bounce means that, well, that email no longer exists. Your email is not coming through. All right. All right. Perfect. I require double opt-ins in Canada. Does AutoWebinarX does this? No. At the moment, we don't have double opt-ins for AutoWebinarX. I think that's something you can do with your autoresponder instead. Remember that if you want to import your list, again, it's very easy to do it on AutoWebinarX. All right. You can even integrate your with your autoresponder form inside of AutoWebinarX, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. All right. So I hope subscriber section is clear, guys. If you have any questions, I'm going to give you around 5 seconds to ask a question before we proceed to the next part. When someone signs up for a webinar, they are added automatically. Yes, they are added automatically. Okay. All right. So let's continue then. So let's talk about webinars. How do we register users to a webinar? You can either import them as a list or provide them the link to sign up with. Two options. All right. So if you have a list, for example, that you want to bring in, go to the subscriber section and import it as a list. If you don't want to do that, if you don't have a list and you just want people to get into the webinar, then set up a webinar and provide them or share the sign up link. The sign up link for every webinar is unique, and you can use it as many times as you want. Okay, so let's get started first, and let's set up a new webinar here. Will I demo the sign up process? Absolutely. In fact, I'm going to demo even the live webinar itself. So you're going to be able to join two webinars right now, one on GoToWebinar and one on AutoWebinarX. Okay. So let's say, for example, this is going to be technical walkthrough, not replay, technical walkthrough, live technical walkthrough of AutoWebinarX. There we go. Click on description here. So I have two options here, by the way, right? So I can set this up as a private webinar or a public webinar. Now, what does that mean? If you go to your site .autowebinarx.com or whatever domain that you have set up for this, you'll be able to see all of the webinars scheduled for you. So as you can see, I have an FB Live webinar scheduled for the 30th, and I can join this one as well if I do want to do that. Right? So if I want to do that here, I'm going to click on more, and I have a sign up page here to that webinar itself. So you can schedule a lot of webinars, right? Unlimited webinars, even on the main offer. You can schedule unlimited webinars on the main offer and get people to sign up based on the specific time and date that they want to join. Is that clear, guys? So you can get them to All right, so you can get them to join the webinar that they want. So basically, you can create an entire webinar course inside of your subdomain.autowebinarx.com. Okay, so if you want, if you want to set up future webinars, for example, just go to you just go to your username.autowebinarx.com or your domain name if you have a domain name set up. Is that clear, by the way, guys, about being able to see all the upcoming webinars? Yep. So it basically creates a site for you that that people can join or see all of your webinars scheduled. So are we notified when they sign up, or do we have to log in to AutoWebinarX to see them? To be honest, I haven't really we haven't really focused on that. Let me check if there's a setting for that. Okay, because I haven't really focused if there is a setting to notify you, because usually people don't want to get notified when someone signs up to their webinar. Yeah, let me see if it's a feature here. Autoresponder, blah blah blah. So no, but that's something you can also integrate with your autoresponder. Because you are able to integrate your HTML code here and use the form code for your preferred autoresponder. So this way, when they sign up directly to AutoWebinarX, and they also get signed up to your autoresponder. Okay, now let's go back. I think we're getting sidetracked for a bit there. So let's go back here and set up our first webinar. All right, so I'm gonna set this up as a public, so I'm not going to check private webinar here. So it's gonna show up on our page, and I'm gonna select where the people or where the signups will go. So if you sign up to this, it will go to a specific list. You can also create one if you want to separate this webinar from the rest of your list. All right. So in my case, I'm gonna just select customer, AutoWebinarX customers. I'm gonna uncheck create new list. Click on next. Select the time that I want for this. And let's say, for example, I'm gonna set this up for today. And what's the time today? Let's say 5:30. And click on next. Now, here's the awesome part, guys. AutoWebinarX allows you to exclude people. So let's say, for example, I'm going to include all the AutoWebinarX customers, but I'm going to exclude everyone who have watched the Evergreen webinar, for example. So you can exclude buyers from your main list. And this is going to be an awesome way for you not to spam the same people who've already purchased from the ones who have not purchased yet. So you can basically exclude buyers from your list. And of course, you can include multiple lists here, and you can exclude multiple people as well. Okay. So a question here from Daniel. If we connect to our autoresponder, will the subscriber still be with AutoWebinarX for the reminder? The reminder is sent by your autoresponder. Again, we don't have that feature yet on being that tells you, that emails you that you have a new subscriber. Okay, because usually when you have something like this, you normally have an autoresponder behind you. Okay, so this creates a link where we can post on our website. Yes, on your website, or even you can also just redirect people to your AutoWebinarX site, and they can see all of your upcoming webinars, just like what I showed you guys earlier. All right, so I hope that answered your question. So let's proceed for now. Click on add, and our webinar is here. There we go. Right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to disable auto start for now, because it will automatically start without me. And I'm going to set up a live webinar here. So in order to set up a live webinar, you need to go through YouTube. Now, why YouTube, and why don't you just create a new platform or software altogether? Now, first is that YouTube Live is proven technology, right? That means We don't need to do a lot of testing. We don't need to worry about so many bugs at all with the streaming. And we know for a fact that it can take care of thousands of viewers. But most importantly, what YouTube Live does is that it allows you to get organic traffic from YouTube. Now, if I'm going to ask you right now, would you say no to free organic traffic? Would you say no to free organic traffic from YouTube? That means whatever your keyword is, whether it's you're gonna your feed is gonna show up on the top of the list because you're doing that live event and you did that webinar directly on YouTube. Douglas is saying I'm not crazy. Absolutely, no one will ever say no to free traffic, especially if it's targeted free traffic. Right? No way, says John as well. So that's the main points why we want to use YouTube Live, because it allows you to get more signups. But if you want that video to be private, it's easy. It's just a flick of a button, and I'm going to show you here how you can do that. All right. So right now you should be seeing the YouTube section here. Don't mind the Family Guy stuff, American Dad stuff. I watch a lot of those cartoons sometimes, just to entertain myself. All right. So let's go back to Creator. Let's click on Creator Studio here. And from here, we'll be able to schedule a live webinar. In fact, I actually did a closing webinar earlier. I'm not sure if you guys were able to attend, but I did, well, 3/4 of the webinar on AutoWebinarX. All right, so just in case you were not able to join that, let me just click on live stream here, and let me show you how you can set up your own live webinar. All right, so I'm gonna go to events. So can all YouTubers see this, or only YouTube subscribers? All YouTube subscribers will see it, right? But once the recording is done, you will also be able to see that video on YouTube when you do a search. Okay, so that video is going to be prioritized since it was done natively on YouTube. That's how it goes with YouTube and Facebook nowadays. So does it show up on other people when they do a search? Yes, again, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. For example, usually if you, for example, go to marketing, for example, if you do a quick search, normally the live webinars are going to show up on the first page, right? So you can do search here. There we go. So yeah, but most of the time, your subscribers are going to be the ones who are going to see it proactively. Okay, so let's set up an event here. I'm going to click on new event, and I'm going to start here, for example, walkthrough auto webinar X. All right, so I'm going to change the time here. So I'm going to change it to USA and 5 miles Eastern. Let's put that here and can select a tag here, for example. Again, this is for SEO purposes. So let's see, AutoWebinarX, AutoWebinarX walkthrough, and all that. Okay, now if you want it to be private, that only you that have a special link will be able to see it, you can select unlisted. But if you want all of your subscribers on your YouTube channel to get notified and it's publicly searchable on YouTube, then select public. Okay, now I'm going to select public for this. I'm going to click on go live now. Here we go. All right, there we go. Our webinar is starting. This might take a few minutes depending on how fast your internet connection is. Usually it takes, for me, it takes like 30 to 45 seconds to load up. Um, I can't give you the link yet because I haven't set up the webinar yet. Then again, the next process is getting the link from your live feed. All right. So is everyone still with me? You see the Google Hangouts page, right? All right, perfect. So as you can see, it's still loading. As you can see from here, there we go. It just went up. I'm gonna go to links and I'm gonna copy the video embed code. This is the one I need on AutoWebinarX here. I'm gonna paste that here and I'm gonna click on update. All right, there we go. We have our streaming code and all I need to do is set this up to live. There we go. And now I want to provide you the URL to sign up to. There we go. And I'm going to start the webinar as well. Again, you can provide the link first, depending on how you want that. But again, I will make sure that make sure to check your feed first before it is going to work. All right, and let me know if you have signed up. And while we're waiting for people to sign up to the link in the chat, I'm gonna go to webinar host and I can see all of the attendees here. Okay, so guys, let me know if you see the link. You can register for that. Don't worry, there's not gonna be any pop-ups or any weird things coming up. I just want to make sure that I should demo this for you live. So I see Ryan is already on the call. I see John as well. I see friend. I don't know who you are, but I see friend there. And I can tell you can send your URL. Hey guys, I can share URLs for you. Let's say webinarx.com. There we go. I can share URLs with you guys as well. So just like in GoToWebinar, I can answer chat. I can see all of your votes and all, and provide URLs and broadcast messages as well. So just a quick test. Send me a message right now in or via AutoWebinarX. All right, send me a message. Don't worry about the bandwidth, Douglas. It might get a bit delayed because I'm now streaming twice, and you might hear some, well, weird sounds because you're now streaming live. All right, so can you see me? Well, I can't see you. I can see your chat. There we go. Are you a robot? That depends. All right, and I see the shared URL. Why is the URL the main domain? What do you mean, where is the URL the main domain? It's not actually the invite URL. Yeah, so if you have your own domain name, it's gonna show up as differently here. All right, so guys, as you can see, you can manage everything here. I can answer it privately, for example. Yes, for example. So are you recording this on YouTube? Are you recording this on YouTube? Yes. Again, when you do YouTube Live, guys, you don't need to worry about recording. It is recorded for you automatically. So can I do screen share? Absolutely. If I do screen share here, there we go. You should be able to see my screen now. Can you see it? Let me see. I bought the last OTO for training. Where would I find this? This is auto webinar page. Catherine, the masterclass, if that's what you mean, the training, that's going to be a live webinar. So you'll be automatically opted in for the webinar that's going to be happening on Saturday this week, 5 p.m. And basically, we'll walk through every strategy that you can use to generate leads and sales through webinars. So there is currently no page yet for that because well, it's a live webinar. So only the members area for that will be available after the first webinar is going to be done. Because the members area is primarily just for you to access all of the material and the bonuses that comes with the masterclass upgrade. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right. So again, if you do have, or if you do encounter any problems, just let us know. When I select public, I could not enter a comment. That is weird. If you can, John, you can do a screenshot and please send it to our support, or so that we can check it out and we can try to replicate the problem. Okay. We really haven't experienced that bug yet. Um, could you kindly advise that it takes 24 hours to register for YouTube because of the YouTube policy? I actually didn't have the problem, to be honest. I actually have a new channel here. I just need to verify my phone number and that's it. I didn't have to wait 24 hours for it. I actually have a new channel here altogether. This is quite new. Yeah, I think it depends. I think I have my phone number verified. So whenever I create a new channel, I just need to get verified. They call me up. They have this robot talking and I can just verify the numbers. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure about the 24-hour thing. Perhaps it's a country restriction, but for me, it's fine, which is kind of weird. But yeah, it's something that's beyond our control. Okay, so is everything clear so far, guys? This is what I mean, Douglas. That you're gonna be getting weird sounds because you now have me in two places, in GoToWebinar and AutoWebinarX. So it's gonna have some really weird feedback. So I would suggest that you close the. I'm gonna close the. Is it okay for you guys that I turn off the feed for AutoWebinarX? Because again, I do need to demo the rest of the part as well. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. Just want to make sure everyone is clear with that. Unless you do want to hear second voices every time you're watching this. So I'm gonna turn this off and we're gonna focus on the demo. Okay, let's click on stop, and your feed should stop now. There we go. All right. Okay. So guys, let me know once you're back in GoToWebinar and seeing the same screen that I have here. Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay. All right. So after your webinar is done, you can click live, or not live, but rather end, and it will allow you to instead of having a live webinar page that says that the broadcast is finished, you're gonna have your own replay page instead. So if I click on back for this, now, right now I have a webinar end page here. If someone signs up to this webinar, it's gonna say, hey, the webinar has ended, unfortunately, but you can still watch the replay here. Right? So let's say, for example, here, webinar replay embed code. So let's say, for example, I'm going to get the video that I created or did a live stream earlier. I hope it's ready. There we go. And I can get the live stream for this. Live stream code, that is. Just like what I did earlier. So when or the embed code rather. Go embed, copy this code, go back to AutoWebinarX, and perhaps I can make this centered. There we go. Click on save. So now when someone tries to sign up to the live event, they will get this. There we go. They will get the replay page instead. So you don't need to create your own replay page altogether. It's gonna be done through the WebinarX platform. Right? If you try to register again on that very same link I sent you, you'll be able to get the replay page here instead. Now, here's the cool part. This actually allows you to do or add your own buttons, right? So if I put in here, for example, a link, let's say, for example, this goes to AutoWebinarX.com, and for example, it's gonna go click here and click on save. If I refresh for this, okay, let me see. Refresh for this, and I should see a button here as well. All right. Okay. All right. So guys, is everything clear so far about live streaming and doing live webinars using YouTube Live? Do the ads show at the end of the replay? Again, it's a live stream, so as long as you don't click on monetize your videos, the ads won't show up. Related videos, yeah, I think it does. Let me see. Usually, Facebook does allow blocking that one. See? Yeah, you still see the related videos there. Again, that's something that's beyond our control since we use YouTube. Related videos, not related ads. Okay. How can we add this on the leads page? Johans, I'm not sure what you mean. If you can clarify what you mean by adding this on the lead page, you have to understand that AutoWebinarX has its own page, right? So what you can do, however, is you can just embed the video directly to your leads page. The webinar form, can you embed it? There is actually no webinar form here, but what you can do is you can embed the link altogether. So you can link them to your webinar and just get the webinar invite URL here. This is the one you can insert to your videos or to your pages. Sign up here, click here, and you have this link to go to there, to this page. Daniel, this is an awesome resource. Let me check it out. I'm going to talk to the developer and how we can work on removing the related videos. Thanks for this. I'm going to take note of it. And yeah, if we can figure out how to remove the related videos legally, then yeah, we'll definitely look into it. Thanks. That's an awesome suggestion. All right, so everything clear so far, guys, about webinars. So we can move on to the next step would be autopilot webinars. Okay, for our videos, can we set up a specific time for the video to start? You mean the webinar schedule? Yeah, you can set that up. For example, you want the video to start on a like 5 seconds in. Currently, we're working on that as well. It should work by now. You can only do that for you can only do that for evergreen or autopilot webinars. You can't actually do it on a live webinar because, well, it's a live webinar, right? So you can't really skip through certain parts. Okay. All right. So let's talk about automated or autopilot webinars now. Is that fine with you guys? So there are two main autopilot webinars. First is going to be the the autopilot webinar that is specific on a date. Now, not sure if you saw earlier, is I had to enable auto start because there is an autopilot webinar that allows you, right, allows you to pick a specific date that people can join. All right, so let me show you this, how to set up the first autopilot webinar. Click on next. I'm gonna click on next for this. I'm gonna select a time or a date. Let's say 29th at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna click on next. Click on add, and there we go. All right, so autopilot webinar by Neil Napier and Alvin Yang. I'm gonna click on edit. Now, if I have this big enable to auto start here, can everyone see this, by the way? Let me know if you see it. Okay. I want to make this very clear because a lot of people get confused with this. All right. So if enable auto start is checked, your webinar is going to automatically start whether you or your VA is logged in or not. It's going to automatically start for you at that specific time and date. Okay, so you don't need to be on the webinar itself to do the webinar live. You can just select a video that you want to use as live. The term I use for this is simulated live webinars. So again, why is it simulated? Because you have a specific date, you have a specific time, but the webinar itself isn't exactly live. How and why would you use this? Let's say, for example, you're someone who do a lot of webinars. You record a very awesome webinar that you have, but you don't want to repeat the same performance every single time. So you want to use the recording and reuse that over and over again when you do a promo or when you're selling your course and all that. So you set this up to auto start. You have your VAs, or you can log in via chat and you can answer questions there. But that webinar isn't exactly live. It's a pre-recorded video, but you have yourself there answering chat and questions as if it was live. Is this making sense, guys? Do you see the purpose in this? Why you can set up a simulated live webinar? Yeah, pretty much it's an easier way to do webinars, right? Second, perhaps you're not someone who like to do live webinars because you stumble a lot, right? So you can record a pre-recorded webinar, put it up on YouTube or in Vimeo, and you can use it here, right? Same way. So this basically just makes webinars a lot easier and a lot more accessible for everyone who either don't have the time or don't want to do so much work. All right, so let's say, for example, we want to do this here. I want to go to streaming, and I'm going to get the embed code just like we did earlier. Go to share, click on embed, copy the code, and paste. Update, and that's it. That is an evergreen. That's an autopilot webinar there. So by 29th by 5 p.m. Eastern, whether someone is logged into my account or not, it's going to automatically start, and it's automatically going to play the video there. Okay? Okay, perfect. Yeah. So, but let's say, for example, you do have an email list. How do you get them to join a specific webinar? Now, guys, who here received a GoToWebinar reminder that the webinar is about to start in 1 hour? Give me a yes if you did, or you received that email. Okay. We actually have something similar in GoToWebinar as well. Okay, so if I go to the webinar section here and I click on edit, let's see for this one. All right, there is a section here where I can notify subscribers. Right, I can send an email to subscribers and tell them that the webinar is about to start. Right, just like on GoToWebinar, you can set up reminders. You can set up your list to receive emails as well. All right, so let me actually just check here in a bit. Give me 1 second. All right, so where do you set up the automatic webinar? I think I explained earlier. The first thing I explained is the automated webinar that's happening on a specific date. That is the this one here, the waiting, the enable auto start. Yeah, that's the first one. Okay. Now, how about invites? What happens when you want to send invites or reminders to your subscribers? All you have to do is go to the notification section here, and you can choose a template. We have an invitation template, a reminder template, or a close template. Just have to add the subject, and you can select whatever list you want to invite to this webinar, and you can even select what SMTP you want to use for this. So let's say, for example, I want to remind you to the webinar is about to start in 1 hour. Just like go to webinar. Webinar is starting in 1 hour, right? And I want to send this to my webinar tutorial members. Send it via SendGrid, for example, and I can set this up 60 minutes before the webinar, an hour before. I can set this to 120 minutes, which is 2 hours before. Or I can send this to a specific person as well here. So it's the same way as GoToWebinar, but you have full control of everything here and how your email is going to be sent because you are able to set up your own SMTP. Now, that might sound a bit complicated, but it's actually quite easy. Let me show you how to set it up. If I go to SMTP server here, you can add multiple SMTPs as well. And all you have basically you need to have is the port number and the host name. That's it. Is there an unsubscribe in the email reminder? Yes. So if we go to the template here, again, it would be spamming if we don't have an unsubscribe button there. If you go to notification section here, if you go to reminder, for example, there is a unsubscribe button added for you. So yeah, they can unsubscribe. Where do you put the bounces email address? You mean the bounce email address? Well, you have to delete them. Okay, because that hurts your SMTP status. All right. So, is everything clear, guys, about simulated live webinars and live webinars? And I'm gonna go through now the just-in-time webinars. That's gonna be the third kind of webinar that you can do in GoToWeb or GoToWebinar, not in AutoWebinarX. Let me know. Everything clear so far before we proceed? So again, just to recap, there are two types of autopilot webinars. One is the specific time and date, the simulated live webinar, and the other is the one I'm about to do, which is the just-in-time webinar. You can't stream it as live in YouTube. That's actually against their terms and conditions. Okay. All right. So let's continue. So, what is just-in-time webinars? All right. So you're just in time to join. There we go. I'm gonna click on next, and I'm gonna select, for example, the same list here. All right, and Eastern time. Again, you don't have to select a time here, to be honest, because it's a just-in-time webinar. Just-in-time webinar is basically your customers would be able to watch the webinar at the hour of their preference, right? So webinar means if they sign up, it will tell them, hey, the webinar is about to start. Join now, sign up now, so that you can watch it live, something like that, right? So evergreen, yes. Autopilot, yes. Okay. So select a duration. Again, this is just an estimate. It doesn't have to be really specific to your webinar. Click on next. And just like before, we can exclude people. We can invite multiple lists as well. So when I click on add for this, I'm not going to select any list for now. And we have here, where was that? Yeah, you're just in time to join by Alvin Yang. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to click and edit. I'm going to add a quick video here. I want to add the same video here just to make things super easy. I'm going to click on paste. And let me actually try this here. There we go. So yeah, if you want your webinar to start on a specific time, what you can do is, well, you can click on get info. It will automatically get the length of the video, and you can start on a specific second or minute. Let's say if we want this webinar to start on the 20-second mark for everyone, I'm going to click 20 seconds, click on save, and now I have a just-in-time webinar. So if I open this up, it will tell me, hey, you're just in time to sign up for the webinar. It's about to start. You can click here, sign up now, and watch the webinar right away. Right? So this is an awesome way for you to be able to um, get people to watch at a time of their convenience. You don't have to wait for a specific time and date. So what will be the uses for this? If you're promoting, let's say, for example, a product that is going to be closing at the end of the day or in a couple of hours, this allows you to do webinars for your customers, get them to watch the webinar, and you still have the scarcity to get them to take action. All right, so awesome question from Martin here. All right, can we add an intro video to the sign up page to encourage them to sign up? Yes, you can. Let me actually open up one of the videos here and show you an example. Now, I actually forgot the name of the webinars. That's what happens uh, when you do too many webinars. All right, so let me see if I remember what webinar was that. Let me try to log out here. Let me go open up the KV Social account instead. Bear with me, guys. So many webinars, I can only remember so many of them. All right. Okay. Where was that webinar? I think I have it here. Anyways, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just gonna add a live or another video here to encourage them to sign up. So let's say, for example, you want to register for this, and on the landing page, I want to insert a different video altogether, right? So I'm gonna look for an intro video here. Let me see if I can find a video. So let's just select any video here. Okay, let's use this. Oh, this is too long for an intro. This is like 33 minutes long, or 35 minutes long. Let's use this same one here. So let's say this is gonna be our intro video, right? And all you need to do is get the embed code, which is like before. Get the embed code, copy, and go back to our webinar page, and go to landing page. And from here, I can select HTML and paste the code. If I want it centered, I can click on update. The video will show up here. I'm going to make it centered here. There we go. By selecting that, I click on save. And when someone signs up to this, they would automatically see the welcome video there as well. There we go. All right. Let me know if that is clear, by the way, guys, about adding a welcome video to your landing page. Can we alter the colors where the date resides? At the moment, no. Can it autoplay? Unfortunately, due to the restriction with Google Chrome and YouTube, you cannot autoplay. You can either autoplay, but the video is muted, or not autoplay, but the video isn't muted. It's a Google browser or YouTube thing as restriction right now. But please know that we are working on how to get over that. Okay, we're always looking for a workaround and how to improve conversions because we will be using this on a lot of promos that we're gonna do. All right. So, guys, does anyone have any other questions? So, it's a streaming issue both for YouTube and Facebook Live. Which streaming issue? We have a streaming issue with Facebook Live at the moment. YouTube, no problem at all. Make a thumbnail that says "click the button." What do you mean for the for the video to auto to so that people will click on the play button? Yeah, that's actually a very good recommendation. You mean here? Yeah, you don't actually need to create a thumbnail for that. Or you can just get an image here. Again, this is actually a HTML editor, guys, so you can pretty much put anything you want here. You can add images, you can add buttons all there as well. Vimeo is actually pretty much the same process. So if you want to run let's say a pre-recorded webinar, because you can't exactly do Vimeo live at the moment, like it's limited to just a few people. So what you can do is, oh, let me actually set up a new webinar here altogether. Yeah, that's a very good recommendation, Douglas. Put a thumbnail on YouTube video saying that press button to play. Yeah. Would anyone be interested on getting a thumbnail like that? I can create one for you guys really quick. Can get the graphic editor to create one, and I'm gonna add this up on the tutorial section. Very good call, Douglas. So I'm gonna add maybe perhaps 3 or 4 different templates there that you can use. Okay. Again, we're always open for suggestions, guys. So let me just take note of that before I forget. Um, create thumbnails for YouTube video to click on play. Okay, awesome. All right, so yeah, with Vimeo, it's pretty much the same thing. If you click on create webinar here, let's say Vimeo tutorial, just like with YouTube, it's actually quite easy. Let's say open up here, 30th, 8 p.m. Click on next. Oh, click on just in time webinar, that is, and copy. Click on add, and instead of YouTube here, just go to Vimeo. And in fact, you can just go to any Vimeo link. I think I have a couple here. Let's say, for example, I want to use Mario Brown's or Mario's sales video or VSL. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. Okay, bear with me. Okay, let's say for example, this is going to be the masterclass Vimeo video that Mario added on the masterclass sales page. I'm going to copy the link for this, and I'm going to go back to where? This one, and paste the URL, get info, and there we go. It's automatically got the title, and I can select a start time as well. And I can click on preview just to make sure that it works. There we go, it works. So click on save, and that's it. That's pretty much how you copy it. You add Vimeo video to your AutoWebinarX webinar. So let me know if that answered your question, by the way, about Vimeo. Indeed, because it shows it together. I'm not sure. Let me go back. Does YouTube Live require you to have an AdSense account for allowing streaming? It doesn't require you to have an AdSense account. I actually don't have an AdWords account on this email. Only on the KV Social email that I have. Put a thumbnail in your video. Yeah, I think I got that already. So on the webinar end page, can we embed a survey for example, by adding an HTML code to your survey creator. Yes, so you in the end page here, there is an option that you can add here. But again, I wouldn't recommend this. Instead, for example, here, let's say I want to end this, and let's actually try it out. It's better if we see it happening here. Let's experiment for a bit. Actually, really, to be honest, I haven't really tried that, but let's see. Okay, so let's see. Let's put some text here. We can save, and let's see how this works now. Yeah, so I would be able to iframe, for example, a survey here. So yeah, the quick answer would be yes. Okay. All right. So everything clear, guys. I hope everything's clear. And yeah, who here, by the way, does have Kyvio? Give me a yes if you have Kyvio or an autoresponder that accepts or that allows custom form codes. All right, perfect, perfect. So let's say, for example, oh, Infusionsoft, to be honest, Marlene, I think they do accept some form codes. So yeah, Mail It, not so sure. I think they do not for Mail It. Okay, so for autoresponder here, you can actually enable this integration. What this allows you to do, if let's say, for example, I'm going to log into my Kyvio account. Just close a few things here so that we don't get confused with where we're going. And let's say I'm going to open this up. All right, and from here, we're going to go to email marketing, and we're going to go to opt-in forms. Right? So again, this is Kyvio, by the way. This is not AutoWebinarX, so I'll make that very clear. And if someone does want to sign up, or if you have a form here that you want to create or want to use, just click on the view icon here, click on HTML, copy this, and put it up on AutoWebinarX. So when someone signs up to this webinar, they're going to get automatically added to your list inside of Kyvio as well. So you don't need to import people who sign up to your webinar into Kyvio. Okay. Yep. If it allows you, to be honest, Martin, I haven't really, I don't remember all the features of MailIt. If it allows you to create HTML, then or HTML form codes, then yeah, you should be able to add it here, as long as it's an HTML form code. That's the only limitation that AutoWebinarX has for autoresponder integration. Can we add them? Can we add them to multiple lists with the form code? Again, that's something that is dependent on your autoresponder, because you can only add one form, right? So it really depends on your autoresponder if they allow you to import multiple people into. Oh, you can only add one autoresponder, unfortunately. Normally, normally you can only add one because it's gonna spam the like the autoresponder if you have multiple forms here. I think the only workaround for that is when you go through a third party. Let's say, for example, your sign up goes to this, and your autoresponder automatically forwards that to your other autoresponder. I think that's the only workaround. All right, so guys, that's actually pretty much it for all the features. Again, right now, unfortunately, I can't feature the or show you the Facebook Live because we're still working on a fix for that. Um, but once it's fixed, we are definitely going to do a quick video for it as well. And about the tutorials, we're going to be adding more and more this week. This is going to include like specific processes. Like it's going to be including like deleting people from your list and all that. Even the adding your own domain name. Okay. All right. So Martin, yeah, about the asset, about the uh, custom domain mapping, I suggest contacting support. We are working on a tutorial about that, um, especially on how to make it work with SSL. Okay. Um, since Pro has, oh, Pro actually only includes the advanced features. Developer rights is only for agency. Reseller is something different. Reseller means that you can sell AutoWebinarX as a software. So you're basically an affiliate, but instead of getting 50% commissions, you're getting 100% commission. So reseller is kind of like an affiliate or a special deal where you can get 100% commission for selling AutoWebinarX. Agency is selling it or renting it out to a client. How do I add more presenters? You add that through, I think I mentioned that earlier. I can add that through YouTube Live. There is a link for invite people there, and you can have multiple presenters. I actually have a video for that as well, so it's going to be uploaded in a bit on how to add multiple presenters in a live webinar. Okay. Anything else, guys? And by the way, if you do have like requests for a certain tutorial, just make sure to contact our support and just put in like I need a tutorial for this, and yeah, I'll create one for you really quick. Usually it takes like 24 hours to 48 hours turnaround time for me to do a quick tutorial and for the programmer to update that on the server. Okay, so if you have any requests, feel free to do so. Can they ask questions at a replay webinar? Replay, no. Live, yes. When do you think will you have a Facebook fix? I'm sure by the end of this week. Normally, we should have a fix by either tomorrow or Thursday. But just to be on the safe side, by this week. Okay. So if you find any bugs, by the way, again, please make sure to contact us so that we can fix it. Again, we want to make sure that those bugs are fixed, squashed, and dead before your 30-day trial ends or your 30-day money back guarantee ends. Again, we don't want you to leave because um, we don't want you to wait it out until you're at the end of the 30 back money back guarantee just to tell us that, hey, the software sucks, this doesn't work, and then request for a, let's say for example, a refund after the 30-day period. So if you can find bugs in the software, glitches, let us know right away so we can fix it and make sure that the software is going to be usable for you before the 30-day money back guarantee ends. All right. So I hope that's fine with you guys. Let us know if you have any problems. And again, it is in our best interest to always fix those for you. And by the way, for those who haven't purchased AutoWebinarX upgrades yet, this is the last time you're going to see it on this pricing. The rest of the prices will actually increase by $20 or more at by midnight Eastern today. So I'm going to post the links, by the way, if it's okay with you guys, of all of the OTOs. I think you already got all the main offer there. I want to make sure that you do get the chance to see all of the upgrades, if just in case you missed them when they were offered. Okay, so I hope that's okay. Let me just get this here. For the special launch price by midnight tonight. So you have around 5 hours and 13 minutes, 43 minutes to go. So let me just get the list here. If you miss any of the upgrades, again, you don't need to get the reseller to get the agency. Again, you can get a separate upgrade as long as you use the same email when you sign up to this. Okay, there we go. So can everyone see, by the way, the links to all the upgrades that they can get? So it's reseller, agency. Oh, I forgot the pro. and the Pro version. Can attendees ask questions in just-in-time webinars? Yes, they can, but again, the problem is with just-in-time webinars, no one might be there to answer questions. That's the only thing. So normally they will get a reply saying that we'll get back to you in 24 hours, unless there's really someone there answering chat. Can we still answer questions? Yeah, I think that's the same question from Daniel and Martin. Okay. All right. Any other questions, guys? Last call. All right. Yeah, and I did forget to change my name and go to webinar. Yeah. All right. So since there are no other questions, guys, we are gonna wrap things up. Does the past webinar stay up? It depends. If you make it, if you put it, if you put that out as live, then it's gonna stay up. Again, there is a countdown timer here as well. So let's say, for example, you ended the webinar and let's say you wanted the replay to be available for a certain time. Then yeah, you just go to webinar end and there's a replay expiration date here. Okay. Is there an FB or forum? Not at the moment. What I do recommend though is you can just join our Facebook or the KV Social Facebook group, and you can ask questions here. Ideally, questions should be answered through support. But yeah, you can join our Facebook group here, which is http://link.kvsocial.com/Facebook. There we go. Is Kyvio your product? Yes. Quick answer, yes. Is there a group for Facebook for AutoWebinarX exclusively? No, but there is a Facebook group for KV Social customers. So you can join that, and yeah, I will do some live videos there once the Facebook Live thing is already fixed. Okay. Will the agency, will my clients have their own logins? They will have their own panelist logins, but they can't run the webinars themselves. Okay. Um, no special in Kyvio. Yeah, if you're not sure if what level of access you have, just go to your dashboard and you should see the level of access you have here. So if it's not bold, that means you have access to that. Okay, all right, so guys, I'm not sure what you mean, John. Do you handle support for reseller to customers? Yes. So we handle support for anything software related. So your only main focus would be on finding customers. Okay. And since it's cloud-based, if there are going to be updates, they are going to be able to you would be able to get them automatically. How do my clients run their own webinar? They actually don't. Remember that with agency license, you are essentially running the webinar for them. If they want to do their own webinars, then resellers would be the best thing for them. you can sell them a copy of AutoWebinarX instead. Okay. All right. So guys, yeah, is Vimeo used just for pre-recorded webinars? Yes. You can't do live webinars on Vimeo, from what I know. You might be in the future, but yeah, for now, it's just for pre-recorded videos. Okay. Yeah. So make sure that the agency, John, is not bold. And if it is, and if you purchase the agency, just contact support and let us know. Okay. All right. So guys, we're gonna wrap things up. Again, it's been like 30 minutes or so, or 1 hour and 30 minutes or so. So I think it's getting pretty long, and I'll make sure that the replay for this is gonna be available for you guys to check out within 24 hours. Again, thank you everyone for joining the call. Thank you, John, Douglas, Martin, Tony, Catherine, Carlos, Johans, and I do hope you enjoyed today's call and you found it pretty cool and useful as well. Not sure what you mean by gold. We don't have a gold version. All right. So John, you might be mistaking our webinar for our software for someone else. Yeah, webinar replay will be on the tutorial section here. Okay. All right. So guys, thank you for being on the call, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye everyone.